Well, Megan, we're just chatting a bit here as we're getting going, and first of all, Stephen's planning to come back for the Georgetown game, which is a fun side of being an alum of
course,
SU,
yeah.
isn't it? Take us back to last summer, though. You're taking this bike trip across the country. You're in Colorado, and what happened that night?
I mean, it couldn't have been a more normal night. You know, I was just going to the theaters that night. My friend and I, who I was bicycling with, there was a girl who lives in Aurora who was hosting us that night. So we took her out to the theaters as, you know, just as gratitude for her being such a good host. And, you know, sitting in the seat in the crowd, and all of a sudden, you know, the front right emergency exit opened. Tear gas canister came streaking across the screen, and then the gunman just opened fired. And I was hit really early on with a shotgun in my face, my neck, my chest. But, you know, I was lucky I didn't lose consciousness. None of my arteries were damaged. And so I was bleeding pretty badly, but when there was a pause in the shooting, when the gunman's AR-15 jammed, I was able to escape out the back of the emergency exit.
Once that tear gas was in there, was it just chaos?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's the best way of describing it. It was smoky, just people screaming, like scrambling over each other. It was just crazy. I can't really describe it. I don't think words really do it justice.
And what was your awareness of your injuries immediately? Were you in pain? Did you realize you had been injured?
I knew that I'd been shot in my neck, but I actually had no idea that I'd been shot in my chest or my arms. I mean, that was the most painful wound. And so even my face, I couldn't feel that. And so I just knew that something had been hit in my neck, and I was worried that perhaps it was very serious. And so I just had my hand over, you know, over the bleeding, trying to stop it, and was able to escape, as I said, and get to a hospital relatively quickly.
And did you get medical attention at the scene that night? Or did you
not
have
at
to
the
get to the
scene.
hospital to get some?
Yeah, there was a triage area that they set up where I was given kind of a piece of gauze to kind of cover my wound, but it wasn't until I got to the operating room, to the hospital, to the emergency room, that I was able to get medical attention. I mean, it was chaos in the theater, it was chaos outside of the theater too. I mean, just police officers running everywhere. And the ambulances hadn't arrived in time, and so I was put in the back of a police car, and they just took me to the emergency room.
Did you actually see the gunman?
No, I didn't. I mean, it was so dark at first. I could see the flashing of his gun, of the shotgun, but not actually the figure, you know, behind it. And when I escaped, I didn't even look back. I just didn't even want to, and I just headed for the exit as quickly as possible.
How many weapons were being used while you were in there? Do you know?
Well, I know that what I was shot with was the shotgun. I have shotgun pellets still in me, and I know that, at least from police reports, that the AR-15 was used, and that's the rifle that I remember hearing in the theater.
The rapid sound of that.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was at least told that once that 100-round magazine on the AR-15 jammed, he switched to at least one handgun, possibly two, I'm not sure.
Remarkable that you survived. We're so glad you're here with us to talk about this. We want to talk more about what your views are about guns, gun control, and some of the work you're doing now.
Sure.
When we continue in just a moment, we're going to send it back to Megan. We'll be back with more.